fam. How are we? Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new here, hi, my name is Nikki.Star TV. I do comedic reviews of some of your favorite reality TV shows. Today's reality TV show that we're going to be talking about is The Ultimatum. I don't know how hilarious this is going to be because this show should have never made it to air, Netflix. This show should have never made it to air. I watched every episode in disgust. And disgust. My God, today, let's get into it. So, what in the mega hell or MAGA hell is this show? The women, all of them, not a one has been saved. They're all in the trenches. The men aren't cute. They're all red pilled. They lack charisma. And I hate how the women on the show are constantly auditioning for these men that are at the bottom of the barrel. The bar is in hell. The bar is in hell. I was just like, what is going on with this show? See, I hadn't watched a couple seasons. I didn't know it got this bad. I am really like this was an awful and very hard watch. The reunion is no better. Let's meet the couples. I don't know why. I do not know why, but let's meet the couples. Ashley and Blake. Sorry. These are the original couples. This is the couple that I showed. This is after they coupled up. So the original couples is Ashley and Killian. We women, if a man has Kill in his name, run. Run. So Ashley is with Killian, who looks like Donald Trump if he was born by a human and not a jackal. She is obsessed with this man. I don't know why. For the moment he showed up on camera, he was just awful. Mm-hmm. There was nothing redeeming about him. He doesn't like her family, especially her father. I'm like, well, so how was this ever going to work out? He don't like your daddy? How is this going to work out? He asked her parents for her hand in marriage, and then he said it didn't work out after that. And so they started off engaged, but they were no longer engaged by the time they got to the show because of whatever happened. Then later in the season, we found out that he was being verbally abusive to her. And the father was just like, no, I'm not going to okay this relationship if you are being verbally and mentally abusive to my child, which makes sense. I'm telling you, the theme of this show was abuse. And everybody was like dancing around, especially the host, was just dancing around that abuse is like the theme of this season. Because every woman in some form was being abused by these men. Why did this show make it to air? The next couple that we have is Casey and David. I was watching this show and I was like, there's something about David. I don't know what it is about this guy, but there is something about him. As soon as he said that he used to play professional ball overseas, I said, there it is. Casey's trying to hold on to this man who does not see her as a fully realized human being and consistently cheats on her. And the whole show, she's crying over him and wanting to stay with him, even while she's in this experimental engagement. She's still like desiring this guy. David gave nothing. Like none of the men gave anything, but he really gave nothing. And the way this woman would cry over this man, he gave her nothing. Never even tried to show up on camera a different way. Moving on. The next couple we have is Haley and iRobot, also known as Blake. This is a grown man who has a borderline sexual relationship with ChatGPT. Oh. Every thought he has, he asks a machine what they think about it. and communicates with this machine like it's a human. I also want to say this. All of the men on the show, except for Luke, has had like severe cosmetic. It was a lot of, it was given botched. All of the men on this show had like some cosmetic work done. Like I'm talking about nose job, fillers, brow lift. Like it was a lot of gender affirming going on from these MAGA men. There was a lot of gender affirming surgeries happening from these MAGA men. Now here's the thing, Blake, an odd robot, very odd, very weird dude. Haley, sister, you need to go to therapy. She was a little abusive too. Like this one right here, Haley has like a tick. You can't, and we later find out in the season that she grew up in an abusive household. So she's like, there is something, she got to get help too. Out of all the women, no, out of all the women, I was just like, well, listen,
now she got to get help
too.
too.
Blake ain't a great guy, but sister, you need some work. You need some work as well. Hold on, guys. It's not going to get better. Next up is Monica and Luke. So Luke is a PK, pastor's kid. And of course, Luke. And of course he leads with that throughout the show. But
he was a good guy.
But they try to hide behind Christianity.
Okay.
He's not. This guy is very red pill, deeply in the manosphere. He tries to cover up being a good guy with scripture, and it's just not. I hate when Christians try to push like this. They try to push this idea that they live their life according to the Bible until it gets to the bedroom. And then it's a totally different subject, right? It's like this words in the Bible only apply to you, not to me, right? He only pulls out the scriptures when he's trying to manipulate. And it works. It works. He manipulates everybody with scripture, with being this Christian good guy. He isn't.
Because he got me.
He isn't. He will get you in the beginning. I'm telling you, he was a really nice guy in the beginning. Then he just kept on dropping scripture. And I was like, ain't that something? Ain't that something? As soon as he started dropping scripture, I said, what's happening here? And then and as I continued to watch, I said, oh, that's what's happening here. That's what's happening here. Then we have it gets worse. Alex and Jebin. Jebin gives me first gen that does not know what his identity is, so he adopts all the popular things from Black American men, and becomes like this kind of character of himself. Alex and Jebin are together. They are on the ultimatum because she wants him to make a decision because his parents do not want him to be with somebody who is not Indian. Like the girl is brown, but it's not enough. Like they want her to be culturally Indian, and his family is not supportive of the relationship. Jebin, he's a child. Like he takes nothing serious. And it shows that Alex has been going through in this relationship for a very long time. But these two are very young, very early 20s, and they've been together for 6 years. Here's the thing. I think it's so funny when people who, like young people who are in a relationship, count like the high school years and say, we've been together since we were sophomore year. That's not really dating. You know what I mean? Like you're singing what it is, but then you're going home to your parents' home. Like it's not that adulthood dating. That's the test. That's the real test. At this point, you're just getting to know each other at, daily daycare. That's all that is. But they counted those years when they were children and said that, they've been together for 6 years and she's crying over him because she wants this relationship to work, but he doesn't take anything serious and he humiliates her the entire season, even at the reunion. This show should have never made it to air. You guys told me that black people weren't on this show. Here's Jessica. Here's Jessica taking the biggest L of the season. She's with Idris, Beverly Hills 90210. Like this man, he stopped at every surgeon in LA. This guy is funny looking and awful. And she gave him the ultimatum. I said, oh my God. She brought this funny looking man to the show to force him to marry her. I said, you? What's going on?
And I'm gonna tell you
why is this guy an option?
And he don't like her at all.
He don't like himself. This guy was awful from the minute he opened his mouth. And she is like fighting for this man to marry her. What? Every episode, I got angrier and angrier. I could not believe these women. None of these men are worth fighting over. None of these men are even worth considering as a partner. I can't believe they talk to these men, let alone let them touch them, let alone brought these men to the show to force them to want to be with them. Insanity. The bar is in hell. This is such a red pill show. It needs to be on CMT. It needs to be on CMT. It is such an embarrassment to women. It is a humiliation ritual. None of these men treated these women well. Not one. Not one. Moving on. So that is the couples that we are going. That's the couples that we are going to discuss for episodes 1 through 8. So these, so everybody meets. And here on the show, you have to like kind of date people to see like if you want to be with people. Right off the bat, Jebin, who's with Alex, right off the bat, nobody wants to be with him. He makes everybody feel uncomfortable, including the men. It's just really, really weird. He says like the most awful things, like while everybody's dating each other and the women are trying to get to know him, he's making comments about being lactose intolerant, like a lot of fart jokes, talking about video games, and the woman that he's going to marry has to be like his mom because his mom does everything for him. He doesn't clean up after himself. He doesn't wash his clothes or any dishes. The woman that he chooses has to be his mom. And a lot of these women are older. A lot of these women are pushing 40, right? So they're sitting talking to him, and it's just like, oh, nobody's going to pick him. So I didn't know what the show was going to do about that because nobody was going to pick this guy because he was so awful just in his speaking. And it just seemed like he didn't really want to be on the show. He just came on the show to get noticed. And I feel like because he was such a loose cannon, I think Netflix is going to continue a relationship with him. And I don't know why. Because he's a perpetual child, even on his trial dates with the other woman from the show. So anyway, everybody's at this final dinner, right? So after everybody dates, everybody gets together for this final dinner. And what this final dinner is where you talk about the person, talk about your issues, right? And then the person that you choose for this trial marriage. If you never watched The Ultimatum is a show where people bring their partners who they want to marry, right? And so they bring them to the show to basically force them to make a decision. Either you want to be with me or, either you want to marry me or we're just going to break up. So that's why it's called The Ultimatum. On The Ultimatum, you make the decision to marry or move on. So everybody kind of trial dates each other to see if which person in this process would be a good fit for them as they go through this trial and marriage. So what happens with the ultimatum is you pick somebody after you date, do these trial dates with people. You pick someone who you think would be good to go through the process. And what is the process? The process is you have picked somebody who you think has what your partner does not have, and you pick that person to act fake engage with for like 6 weeks. You guys move in together, you cohabitate together. Sometimes the lines get blurred. Like the ultimatum in South Africa, 2 days in, everybody was having sex with other people. Like it got real freaky, real early. So you can blur the lines, and I have seen seasons where people have done the ultimatum, and the partner that they came in with was not the partner that they left out with. A lot of people leave single. So it's, you just really don't know where this is going to end up. That's why it's so. Child, I hope the fire ain't here, because we got a lot of stairs to get down. Anyway, so that's why this show got so big in the beginning, because you really didn't know how it was going to end. So after everybody trials date, you get to this dinner, and in this dinner, you pick the partner that you want to go through the trial engagement with for the next 6 weeks. So before we even get to everybody picking, Nick says, "Well, we have to talk to Jebin about an incident." And I'm like, "An incident? What happened?" And Jebin is just like, "What's going on?" And Nick is just like, "Alex, did Jebin pass you a note?" And she's like, and Nick is like, "Yeah, he passed you a note." And she's like, "Yes, but the producers took it, so I didn't get to read it." And Nick was like, "Well, I'm going to read it right here." And in this note, he is cussing her out. He is telling her that she embarrassed him. He is telling her that he will never marry her. Jebin was such a different person. Because you see Jebin on camera, he's like the funny, very childish guy, never has a bad thing to say. He's just awkward and annoying. In that letter, he's calling her everything but a child of God. And the way Alex is reading this is like, oh, this is their relationship. Like, she's used to being disrespected by this guy. After she reads the note, Nick talks to Jebin, and Jebin is just like, "Well, she told me that she was catching feelings for somebody. So I was angry when I wrote that. And that's how I was like feeling in the moment." And Nick was like, "Well, here's the thing. When you come on this show, you agree to separate from your partner so you can be fully immersed in the process, because you broke that one rule. We are going to ask you to leave the show." I think the producers got lucky watching Jebin take that, give that note to Alex, because if they didn't, they would have to make up another reason why they are kicking Jebin off the show, because Jebin was not going to be picked. Jebin was not going to be picked. None of the women liked him.
Well, that was a nasty note or something like
that.
Yeah,
it was a very nasty note. But before the note thing happened, none of the women liked him. So he was not going to be picked. So I was watching this and I was just like, how is this going to work? And this is the way it worked. They kicked him off the show. And when he left the table, because he was kicked off the show, Alex stayed. And everybody immediately, even the guys, started telling her she can do so much better. And Jebin is not a good guy. And Nick says, unfortunately, because Jebin was your partner and he has been removed from the show, we have to tell you to leave as well. So she leaves. Then she gets to her confessional and she's like, I don't want to hear that. I've been with him for 6 years. He was my future. I do not want to hear that I can do better. She's like, everybody's telling me I could do better and he's not a good guy and I deserve better. And she was just like, that's not what I want to hear. I gave this guy 6 years of my life. 6 years of my life. I want to make this work.
Oh.
And she leaves the show. So after those two go, now we have to move on with the rest of the dinner. And these are the new couples that we get. So the first couple that we get is Blake and Ashley, which was very weird. Here's the thing. they connected over cosmetic surgery because they both have a lot of cosmetic work that they have done, and Ashley and Blake really bonded over the Botox that she gets, and so they really bonded over that. But it was given like besties. It wasn't giving trial marriage. I was like, what are these two going to learn from each other or bring out the other? I didn't get it, but they both were really happy about coupling up. Who knew it would end the way it would? Then Killian goes next, and he chooses Haley. Um, the way Killian chose Haley was really odd to me because he was presenting himself like he was like a good guy, but for me it just seemed very, very sinister. I will say, although now these two hate each other, Haley and Killian, I think there was some sexual chemistry there, and I think that is the only reason why they both coupled. Coupled up, because even when Killian gives his words to Haley, it's like a proposal, like where he talks about how amazing she is, and I'm just like, it. You haven't even known this lady for a week. What are you talking about? How wonderful she is, and how she would be such a great partner. It was literally like a proposal. Then we get Monica, and this was another one where I felt like this couple, sexual chemistry. That's all I think it is. I think that Monica absolutely wanted to sleep with David. The problem is David was just so awful. She just closed up her clam. I really feel like she wanted to like get it on with him because she was trying to give him everything, telling him that she really likes affection and needs to be touched. But I think anytime they got too close to that, he would just do something to like really upset her, and the clam would close. He had multiple shots, but he was just so awful that Monica just could not go through with it. And that's just what I think from my observation, because she was constantly in the beginning begging him for affection to the point where Casey had to check her about, why are you always wanting my man to be like with you like that? But we'll get into that later. But those two choose each other because they definitely had some chemistry, which I just think was just sexual. So I wasn't surprised about these two coupling up. After that, Luke speaks, and it was obvious that Luke was going to pick Jessica. Like, his words to Jessica was so sweet. It also sounded like a proposal. Mid conversation, as Luke is adoring Jessica, her man, he jumps up to the point where the way he got up, everybody got scared because nobody knew it was going to happen, because the way Luke was speaking to her was just so beautiful. It kind of felt disrespectful. And he jumps up, and it seems like he's going to like go after Luke, but he gets up, walks over to a plant, gets a ring, and proposes to Jessica. And Jessica says yes. The bar is in hell, because the only reason why this man proposed to you was because he knew that you were probably either going to fall for Luke or choose not to stay with him, because you probably would have had a better experience with Luke. So I hated that for her, but she loved it. She loved every moment of that. She's like, beep, we're engaged. Beep, oh my God, we're together. Beep, 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 beep. Can you believe it? He's like, yeah, we're together.
And he's me. Oh,
yeah, me and you. He was so weird. That's another one who I think, thank God he eliminated himself from this process, because I don't think any woman would have picked him either. He turned every woman off as well. He was very creepy, very weird, very, very odd, which is a theme with the men of this season. Very creepy, very weird, very odd.
Seemed like he was on some kind of psychedelic
all
drug.
the time, the whole show. So now we have, where is it? Jevin and Alex, who have been removed from the show because of Devin's actions. He turned the ear for me. And then we have Jessica and Idris. They are now removed from the process because Idris proposed to Jessica and she accepted. I will say this: what was she going to do? What was she going to do? Like, what was she going to do? Say no and say, I still want to go through the process? That wouldn't have worked because he wasn't going to get picked. So she would have went home anyway. So either way, she was going home. So now we have two couples removed from the process. So now Luke, he has to course correct, change his direction. And now he gives the same speech that he was giving to Jessica to Casey. And these two decide to couple up together. Before we get to this part, before we get to Luke choosing Casey, this was really a tough watch. Because before Luke picks Casey, Vanessa talks about what she had to do to get Nick to choose her. And she's just like, I had to really like think about like, what would he want? Like how would I fit into his life? So, once I changed and realized that I needed to want to be better for him so that he could choose me, that is when he chose me. And I'm like, what is happening? Can you hear yourself? Can you hear yourself?
He was in love with someone else.
But Mom, it's just still an embarrassing thing to say. At your big grown age, I had to, but she was saying this in a positive way to advise these women. And when she was giving that dummy speech about perfecting herself so that Nick could want to marry her, Casey starts crying. She's like, Casey, what's going on? And she's like, I'm just dealing with self-doubt. No, Casey realized you can't, that even with the husband, you're going to still be a dummy. Oh. Right? So she's realizing that her life is pretty much Vanessa's. Like, this is pretty much what it's going to be. And as she cries and says she has so much self-doubt, Luke reassures her that she shouldn't have self-doubt and she's an amazing woman, and he picks her. So now these are our new couples. Our new couples are Ashley and Blake, Casey and Luke, Haley and I'm sorry, that's not it. Ashley and Blake is our first new couple. I was right. Yeah, the next couple is Casey and Luke. Our third couple is Haley and Killian, and our fourth and final new couple is Monica and David. And these are the couples that are going to go through the process. Here's the thing: none of these people should have been on this show.
Killian is with Haley.
Mom, you watched the show.
Yeah, but the last thing that I seen is him and the girl.
Yes, but
they was arguing.
That is the person he chose for the trial engagement.
Oh, Killian and Haley came in together. You know what? I apologize.
You watched the show. What's happening? Were you asleep?
No, I saw him with the girl that he took. I thought he was
Ashley is his girlfriend, who he was engaged to, who he came to the show with.
Right.
Haley is the one he did the trial engagement.
That's what I'm saying. I was confused. I thought you were saying that him and Haley are now together.
No. Oh. Keep up, Mama Star. So now these four couples are going through the process, and now the next stage is they all move together. Monica and David are off to a rocky start. And here's the thing. The reason why Monica and David didn't work out is because Monica wanted some dingling before she married this pastor. That's just what it is. We're going to tell the truth and shame the devil. She's all booed up in the bed with this stranger because she wanted some dingling. The problem is David is annoying and an extreme male chauvinist pig. But she saw a bit of that machismo, and that's what she wanted.
Amen.
She called him muscular. She saw the tattoos. She saw that he had a little residue from the black boys he played basketball with, and she wanted to get up under that.
I ain't mad at that.
But he was annoying. And that's the thing. I was watching this show like, David, you were always so close to new coochie. But that mouth, he would always yap, and she would tell him what she desired and what she wanted. And she tried so hard to get that man in bed. And he would just say something to completely turn her off. She even like broke down crying, and she wanted him to like comfort her. And he was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. He wasn't good to her or Casey. My God, today. He also has like a really sharp tongue. And here's the thing with David. His biggest problem is that he grew up, in a poor white family. And his parents, I'm not sure if they were, but it seems like they had some little substance abuse issues because CPS had to CPS had to pick them up a couple of times. It seems like there was some abuse, and he hasn't moved on from that. Yeah. And I think the reason why he hasn't moved on from that is because he's never got the help for it. Okay. And so he constantly, like Monica's ready to peel her panties off, and he's talking about his childhood trauma. And Monica's just like, that's not why I chose you. That's not why I chose you. So these two did not work because Monica wanted some ding-a-ling. He wanted the therapist. They were never going to meet at the same station. So this relationship off grip is dead on arrival.
My God, today.
And even when there's also a process within this show where the couples go and meet the other partner's family, and the families, see how the partner has helped them, or if it's been good for them to see, this other side of them, or if this partner is just a better fit for them than the partner that they came into the show with. So he meets her family, and he tries to do the same pity party thing that he's been doing with everybody on the show. And shout out to Monica's dad, because Monica's dad was like, I grew up just like you. I had a really tough upbringing as well. It doesn't define you. You can be whoever you want to be. That does not have to define you. He said it didn't define me, and it shouldn't define you. And I was just like, that's what he needs. But David didn't like that. David likes the pity party. Yeah. David likes the
goddamn army.
David likes the pity party. So he didn't want to hear that is behind you and that does not define you. And that's what he should have taken in, because I think that would have freed him up. But I don't think that until he sits down with the lady, I don't think he's ever going to be free of this identity of, the whole woe is me. I grew up very poor, CPS, childhood trauma, He's
you gotta stop saying CPS.
No, he kept every time you talk to him, CPS picked me up as a kid.
Oh.
Well, good afternoon.
Well, don't they get them therapy when they?
He has not had any therapy.
He
has not moved on from CPS picking him up. He has not, and so I like the conversation that he had with Monica's dad, but I do not think that
because Monica's dad is saying man up.
Yeah, that's basically what he was saying. Then
Rip, shut up.
Then we move over to Haley and Killian and Blake and Ashley. Now, this is a love rectangle because Ashley and Blake in the beginning are getting really, really close. That their closeness bothers Haley and Killian to the point where these two start to become close, hating on their partners that are coupled together. So they're gossiping about the couples and they're telling each other what the other is doing. And Killian starts to feel some sort of way because he's just like, Ashley and Blake are getting really close. And Haley's just like, I feel like that too. So Ashley comes over because Killian cuss her out, and he's just like, he starts texting her, and he's just like, I don't know what you and Blake got going on, but I don't like it. Y'all, you brought me here, and then you're getting close to this other dude. What is this? Because Killian was feeling like she was going to choose Blake. Mm-hmm. So Ashley and Blake come over to Haley and Killian's apartment, and they have like this intervention for 5 hours. Like, guys, when they went over to their place, the sun has set. When they left, the sun was rising. And Killian and Haley were cussing them out. It even got so heated, Haley had to tell Killian to stop screaming at Ashley. And I was like, see, that's what her daddy saw. That's why she didn't want her with him.
And the mother didn't.
At all. So they had this huge intervention for 5 freaking hours. And then they just agreed at the end of the intervention to block each other so that they would not see what they were seeing, because Killian got mad because he's already been feeling some sort of way about Ashley getting close to Blake. Then he thought that the videos that the show showed us, I didn't think that it was an intimate date. Killian thought it was an intimate date because he was going crazy watching Ashley and Blake play bowl at a bowling alley. He thought it was, just a bit too much for him. And for me, I'm just like, what kind of show is this where you cast these people and they are giving away the plot on social media? Why was Ashley and Blake even allowed to video their date and post it on social media? That was so weird to me. I was just like, there's no social media clause that they cannot post about the show. They're posting about the show they're on while currently filming it. A reality TV show that is supposed to gag you with unexpected endings. I just didn't understand that. It was so weird to me. It was so weird to me. So then we get to Luke, who, I'm telling you, if you watch this, I don't suggest it, but if you do watch it, Luke, who's this guy right here, he's going to get you in the first 3 minutes. He is absolutely going to get you because he just seems so sweet, and, like he is not a good guy, but the best guy out of the bunch. And then you realize, oh, he's just like them, right? Because he's talking to Casey, Casey is probably the biggest girl on the show, right? Keep in mind.
The biggest? What do you mean by biggest?
She a little big mix. She a big mix. But she's not that big. She probably like, an 8 or a small 10. Anyway.
My size.
Not your size. Anyway, y'all know how the white community feels about weight, right? So he just out of the blue starts talking to her about weight. And while she's eating.
No.
While the girl is eating, so she's eating her food, and he starts talking about weight and bodies, and she's like,
"That's right."
And she should have been, because I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay,
like, I get it. And he was
I don't get it.
He was just like, "Yeah, me and Monica, we're really big on fitness, and we talked about we talked about letting the other know if they kind of let themselves go, because we would both get the ick." And Casey was like, well, my relationship is not like that. She was just like, I kind of let myself go, but I went through some things.
Wait a minute. This has to go on too
Yes.
far.
I was like, Luke, why would you? Because he's staring at her while she's eating. And then all of a sudden he wants to have this talk about letting yourself go and getting the ick. Excuse you? Keep in mind, all of Luke's teeth are fighting each other.
No, they're not.
It's like they're all going in different directions. And you're talking about somebody letting themselves go.
My problem is this.
You let go of Invisalign, buddy.
No, you're not going to sit here and talk about me, and I'm having.
And the conversation is about letting yourself go.
And then she's going to admit that she let herself go. Hecky no. He
knew exactly what he was doing. Talking to that white woman about letting yourself go and weight gain. He knew what he was doing. And I said, "Oh, I see you. You almost had me.
Wait,
You almost had me, Luke.
and she was
but
eating. What was
I'll
she eating?
see you." I don't know, but she stopped eating.
She wasn't eating the salad.
No, she was probably a hoagie. He did too much. I said, "There it is. There it is." I'm just like, you are almost mid-30s talking about if you gain weight, you're going to get if your partner gains weight, you're going to get the ick. If I was Casey, I would have been like, yeah, if my partner's teeth starts fighting each other in his mouth, I'm going to get the ick as well. Because who the hell are you talking to? But that is the premise of this show. The women on this show, verbally and mentally abused by the men,
Yes,
and all they do is continue to fight for the affection of these funny-looking men who all have serious cosmetic work done.
They are verbally abusing these women.
I don't understand this show. It is so weird. I'm like, this has to be some kind of agenda. No way that Netflix greenlight that. Y'all didn't watch this season. The execs at Netflix, no way they watched this season. Because I'm just like, so wait a minute, Luke. If Monica gets pregnant and she don't bounce back after that baby, are you going to tell her while she's nursing your child that you got the ick?
Of course he is, because he's just rude like that. Of course he is. So she probably won't have no babies, or she'll probably be spending all the baby money on trying to get a mommy makeover.
Well, it also seems like he has an eating disorder, because he starts speaking about how he was let himself go as a child. I said, you didn't let yourself go as a child. What are we talking about? He's like, yeah, I was just really big and I just let myself go. What? You were a child.
He was going through something. I mean, these people are crazy.
And that's the thing. It's very frail men on this show who have a lot of issues, especially with their looks, who are vomiting out their insecurities on the women of the show. And the women have their mouths agape, welcoming the vomit from these men. It is such a tough watch. So we move on from Luke getting.
So he has an eating disorder.
Yeah.
He has an eating disorder.
It seems like it at this
because
point.
He can't let himself get big.
Yeah.
Again, because he has big tendencies.
Mm-hmm. Well, he had him when he was a child. I said, what are you talking about?
Nikki, you gotta stop. You gotta stop.
So then we're back to Ashley and Blake, because this foursome took over the show. Because they were also messy. They never stopped talking to each other in the process. So Blake and Ashley now, so Blake and Haley are now gossiping with each other. And they're telling each other everything that's going on in the home. So Haley is telling Blake everything that Killian is saying. And Blake is telling Haley everything that Ashley is saying. And they're taking it back to their trial partners and causing mass confusion in the group. And it just becomes a huge problem, right? So then, like, after they're showing us the confusion in this group, we get this scene where Ashley is just like so disgusted with Killian, like in tears, does not want to talk to him. And she starts off the conversation and she's just like, I really came into this process really wanting to be open to this process, but I can't. And this is Kaylee talking to Killy. She's like, and I can't be in this process with you because you're not in it with me. She was like, you never stopped talking to Ashley and you never stopped seeing her. So you never really gave me a full chance. He's like, what are you talking about? She's like, don't you do that to me. I caught you talking to her. Yeah, she got her moments. She has her moments. And I'm just like, okay, like, ain't y'all like, ain't this for fake? Like, what is going on? And although she has her tendencies, after she said this, I was Team Haley. And we'll talk later about what I felt like the show should have done. But let me continue on. So after she cusses out Killian for having saw him and Ashley on
Ashley, who he came on the show with.
Yes. And she's just like, so I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't even know like what we're doing here or why am I even here? Then she says, and I also saw your text messages. like, what is going on? And she said, I saw your group chat with your friends. And she was just, and then she starts getting really upset. And she said, your friends said that they were going to bang me and change the name of the show to Anal Ultimatum. And then she goes, and you were just in that group chat laughing. And he was just like, yeah, because they were just talking. She was just like, but you didn't protect me. Like, you laughed about it.
Yeah, because that sounds like great.
And she's just like, I didn't like how that was funny. And then Killian was just like, oh, it's just guys talking. And she's just like, well, I didn't like it. That made me feel very uncomfortable.
But
she was
I'm
like,
angry with the show.
Exactly. And she was like, this is why I feel like you have cheated me of this process. You're still dating Ashley and you are not protecting me. You're not treating me like somebody who you would want to marry. She said, you're also in there comparing my body to Ashley's body. And your friends are talking about you went from a blonde with big titties and a fat behind to this flat chested brunette with no butt. And she was like, and you're laughing about that. So she said, you're not fully in this process with me. And then you're also saying these awful things about me in this group chat with people I have never met. And Killian is trying to like brush everything off, right? So then after that, the next scene that we see is Blake telling everything that Killian said, or everything that Ashley said to him about her argument with Killian. And then Blake is just like, listen, Ashley, if you were mine, I would never talk to you like that. And I would never like advise you to stay with somebody who talks to you like that. Like, it seemed like he was trying to get Ashley out of her situation, but not to save her, but for her to be with him. So it just felt, even his help just felt very
but how was he helping her when he had she found text messages that he was
That's
going to
Haley. He's talking to Ashley, who was a girl that he's coupled up with in the process, who was engaged to Killian. Because as Blake is telling her that he wouldn't advise her to be in a situation, he then starts telling her how amazing she is. And to me, it just felt like manipulation. I'm just like, you're trying to get in, but you are approaching this like you're trying to help her. And that's not what it felt like to me. Here is my overall issue with this entire thing. The minute Haley saw them text messages, production should have stepped in.
Yes.
Because
that's rape.
Though, Mom, you gotta say sexual assault or something.
Sexual assault.
Those text messages to me and to my mother, it gave possibly setting up a sexual assault. Because you're in a group chat where these men are planning. She doesn't know them. We don't know them. Production doesn't know them to know that these guys are joking, but are planning to have sex with her. Nobody is discussing if she consents to it. Planning to have sex with her, sodomize her, and change so they can change the name of the show. The show should have stepped in, because at that point, being with Killian became unsafe for Haley.
Yeah, they should have gotten rid of him.
Y'all should have gotten rid of Killian.
Yeah.
Y'all should have removed Haley from their process. And listen, even if that meant you didn't get the content that you got from them, okay. It became unsafe for this woman, because she was obviously really hurt by that. Because the next morning she goes to meet with her aunt, and Killian is supposed to come with her, but she told him absolutely not. You're not coming nowhere near me. So she goes to meet with her aunt, and she reads the text messages to her aunt, and her aunt is sick and disgusted. Of course she would be. The text messages were horrible, and she's like, so I'm absolutely done with the process. But I think production probably talked to her, and so she stayed living in the apartment with Killian, who later came and apologized to her, because he was just like, I don't like, what happened, and I don't like feeling like this. I don't like feeling like I hurt you.
And it's still about him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was about him. The only reason why he came to her is because he felt bad because of what he did. And so he said he doesn't like feeling like he harmed someone. Instead of acknowledging, hey, I misstepped here. That text message was disrespectful. It was extremely inappropriate. It should have never happened, and I should have protected you. He didn't say any of that. He didn't say any of that. He just said that I hate feeling like this.
No, she's not what I would sue him.
I do not know why they even showed this. But I was shocked that Haley stayed coupled up with Killian. I would like to know what that conversation was to make her stay in that situation. So the next time everybody gets together, it's the guys and the girls. So the girls get together and Haley tells Ashley all the things that Killian said. And especially the fact that Killian told her that if she wasn't so modest, he would have had sex with her by now. Why does production still have her in that house with that man? Why does production still have her in the house with that man?
You got a point.
She's so uncomfortable. Again, she is not being held against her will. She can absolutely leave. But she is so uncomfortable, and you could see her unraveling because of what is happening to her in that home that she is sharing with Killian. And I'm just like, why is she still in this place with that man? But again, Ashley just sits there stuck because what is she going to say? All the girls are just like, oh, Killian is an awful guy, and basically encouraging Ashley to not stay with him. But Ashley's not going to go anywhere. Like she was not going to leave that man. So the rest of the scenes are just the couples. We have Ashley and Blake, besties, Botox besties. That's all they talk about. With a side of Blake trying to therapize her and get her to get out of her relationship. And then we have Casey and Luke, where Casey is constantly crying. Luke is constantly throwing scripture to make everything okay while throwing in a bit of fat shame. Then we have Haley and Killian, and this relationship just gets more and more toxic because a boundary was crossed with Haley and she was not protected. Mm-hmm. So we're watching this lady react to, her boundaries being crossed and still having to get up and go every day. But she's unraveling because of how she has been disrespected. Then we have Monica and David. When Monica realized she wasn't getting any ding-a-ling, they just became good Judies. And they're all going through the process. Let's get to... Oh, you know what? Before we get to the end, let's talk about the guys when they all hung out. So Blake confronts Killian about the text message, right? And Killian is just like... Killian was just like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then Blake tells the men what the text messages said. And the guys were like, what? Now, if men are shocked by what was in those text messages, mm-hmm. you know it went too far. Even David was gagged. Because David's just like, I might not be a good guy, but I'm not talking about, gang raping nobody. Like, okay. Come on. The guys were so disgusted.
And then he's acting like he don't know what.
Exactly.
Why?
So the guys were so disgusted, but then Blake hit them with an additional tea and was just like, did you also say that you would sleep with her if she wasn't so modest? Luke almost fell off the chair. Luke was like, what? You said that? And Killian was like, I'm not sure if I remember saying that. So Blake is like, so you're telling me Haley lied? And he was like, no, I didn't say that she lied, but I don't remember saying that, right? So Killian never denies it, right? But he says he doesn't remember saying it. Blake takes the tea again back to Ashley after she's already heard it at the girls' hangout. And Ashley is just like, are you sure that he actually said that? And then Blake goes, yeah, he said it to me. He told me that.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said that he did say that to her. Now I got to say this. Killian is an awful guy. Blake was absolutely lying. Because the next day, when Ashley again wanted clarity, because she was just like, I'm feeling so confused because everybody's telling me that Killian is a horrible guy, but I just don't think that he would say that. And then Blake goes, well, he didn't say it like that per se, but I believe that he did say that.
Oh.
And Ashley, rightfully so, gets pissed. And she's just like, now wait a minute. Thank you. Now, wait a minute. You told me that he said that. Now you're telling me that he didn't say that? And you want me to believe you over the guy that I've been dating for most of my adult years? Nah, I'm going to stick with this guy. I know who he is. He may not be likable, but he's an unlikable guy that I'm with. And you might have had me, but then you lied. And that was where I just feel like Blake messed up because Killian is awful. And I think Ashley was seeing the light. But I think when Blake switched up what he said, that made Ashley want to defend Killian a bit more. And so after that little interaction, Ashley and Blake were never on good terms after that. It just became rocky for them after that. So then we get to the trial marriage final day. So Blake and Ashley have now had an argument. And the argument that they had is because Ashley's manipulative and Blake is a robot. When Ashley doesn't get her way, she cries. Blake does not see human beings as human beings. So the way he talks to them, it's annoying. It really, really is, because he's always therapizing people, right? So when Ashley is trying to get her frustration out with him and she starts to cry, and he's just like, and there goes those tears. Because you're not really crying because you're upset that I'm not understanding you. You're crying because I am understanding you and you don't want me to because you want me to be the bad guy. That is manipulation. And Ashley's just like, what are you talking about? Now, I'll give it to Blake. He actually was right. It's just his delivery is always wrong. And not only is his delivery wrong, it's also the words that he uses to speak to people. He just seems very condescending and demeaning. And that's how he speaks to everybody. And so, of course, Ashley is going to get upset with Blake, but she got upset with Blake to the point where she quit the process. I'm going to call bull on that, right? I think that after Blake told Ashley that Killian did say those things and then came back and said, oh, I think he said that. That's when Ashley was just like, yeah, I'm getting off of this and I'm just going to rock it out with Killian. So the argument with her and Blake just gave her an easy out. She was always going to leave the process early to go stay with Killian. But Blake just being Blake gave her an easy out because it seems like Haley wasn't really staying with Killian at that point anyway. So those two just ended up staying together. So on the final day of the trial marriage, Blake is talking to ChatGPT, trying to get ChatGPT to tell him that he was right and that Haley was wrong. And even the robot, the machine was letting Blake know that you are not 100% correct. Oh. Like you both have some things to work on. They all go to dinner. They get to the final trial marriage day at this dinner. Casey, Luke, and David, they all tear up. Casey, Luke, David, and Amanda all tear up and cry about how much they've learned from the other. Then we get to Haley, Ashley, and Blake and Killian. Haley speaks about her awful time with Killian and how he was so messy and how she could not enjoy the experience because Killian really ruined the experience for everybody. Then she speaks about being called manipulative because Blake told her that Ashley said that she was manipulative. And Ashley was just like, no, I didn't say manipulative. I didn't say manipulative. And Haley was just like, well, that's what Blake said. So what we doing? That's what Blake said. So what's going on? right? So Ashley goes, I never said that you were manipulative. Roll the tape. Roll the tape. Roll the tape, because I never said that. Well, they rolled the tape. She didn't see it. They rolled the tape. And it is confirmed that Ashley did actually say that. And then Haley was just like, let's not call me manipulative, because you are very manipulative. And then Haley starts to cry. And then Ashley starts to cry. Ashley starts to cry. Haley goes, and there is the manipulation. Killian was this close to agreeing. He almost agreed, right? Which lets me know that him and Haley were having conversations about how he feels that Ashley is manipulative, right? So as Ashley starts crying, she really starts breaking down, right? Because she's just sick of it all. She's like, I'm so sick of this. I'm so tired of this. And then Blake is like, well, there's a manipulation. And Haley's like, there's a manipulation. And as Ashley breaks down some more, Haley is just like, just stop talking to them, because this is what they want. Do not give them what they want. But I will say this about Ashley. When Ashley started crying and Haley said, there goes that manipulation, Ashley was just like, what? I'm not manipulative. And I was like, oh, that was like immediately the tears stopped. Immediately. And I was like, ooh, that was a little scary for me. That was a little scary for me. So now the OG couples get back together, and now they're going to do another trial engagement. So after this trial engagement, they have to give an answer to the ultimatum. So now we're in the second trial, which is the OG couples doing their trial marriage, their trial engagement. Haley and iRobot seem to be doing well. It looked like Haley and iRobot were kicking it off, right? And then out of nowhere, they had a swimming pool day, and it just did not go well. Haley was asking more from Blake, and Blake is like, what else do I have to give you? I've given you everything. And she's just like, I don't want to have to tell you, Blake. And he's like, okay, well, what can you do to help me understand you? Because I've given you everything, Haley. I've given you everything. She's like, you haven't given me enough. And I'm just like, at some point, like, production, where are you? What is going on? Like, when are you going to protect these people? I don't know what's happening. Ashley and Killian, they get back together. They're arguing. Like, all the couples get back together and they're all arguing. They're all having issues. And it's just like, oh, this process did not work. It seems like all the footage, it seems like that the show gave us, it seems like everybody just hated each other. Everybody's in their trial engagement with the new people that they met. That was horrible. Then they get back with their OG couples. That's horrible. It's like this, every episode was misery. There was never an episode where people were having a good time. It was just misery upon misery. I'm like, I am literally watching this show and there is nobody to root for. Everybody is miserable. Why did they drop this season? Y'all should have just canceled it. I do not understand. I will say the show, it was so bad that the show tried to make things that were awful seem like it was a good thing, because there's one scene where they have like this really dramatic, Hallmark music behind it. And Killian is just like, I'm really glad I got to go through this process, because I really realized how much I yelled at Ashley. And I didn't know that I yelled at her like that until, Haley told me. Okay. Like, what are we doing? That's the good part of this process. You didn't realize that you were being verbally abusive to your girlfriend until another woman who you do not know told you to stop yelling at her? And then David goes, oh, what he learned was the fact that this woman, talking about Casey, is going to stick by him no matter what. Get me out of this hell. Get me out of this hell. It was just, this show was so bad. So we also and when Killian had this epiphany of how horrible he talked to her, he had this epiphany in front of Ashley's parents because he was asking them for their hand in marriage. And he was just like, that's what he was saying. He was glad he went through the process because he learned that he was being verbally abusive to Haley. And then he asked to Ashley, and then he asked her parents for his hand in marriage.
That was the worst hand in marriage ever.
It was horrible.
Yes.
And the dad just starts breaking down crying. And I don't think he was breaking down crying because he knew that Killian was going to be a good husband. He was breaking down crying because he knew he had to say yes for his daughter. Because if he said no, he would be the reason why Ashley didn't marry Killian. Mm-hmm. Ashley would resent her dad and her mom and probably still end up with Killian some way, got pregnant or whatever. You know what I mean? Just to like spite them. So the dad started. She
was egging it on like she wanted it.
Yeah.
So he's this and he's that.
Yeah.
And he's this.
So the dad just was just like, I give you, my permission would be good to my girl.
Yeah.
So then we get to Luke. It is just, it's just so like when he asked Monica's parents for their hand in marriage, it was so performative. It was just so performative, and it was just like I knew, that it was so performative. It was like very performative Christianity, and the parents just ate it up. So that's probably why they really like him. But what the parents and even Monica is overlooking is the fact that she does not like being the breadwinner. That is the problem. Monica does not like being the breadwinner. Luke knows that. So Luke tries to do all this. Oh, I put her on the pedestal because she's so great and amazing to me. You have to put her on that pedestal because she's paying for everything. And when you're in front of the guys, you try to act like, oh, I worship her and I worship her too much. That's why she's like that. No, you have to. You can't clap back when she footing the bill. So he gives this whole speech and he says, as long as your daughter is good to me, I promise to be a good husband to her. So you can't in any financial way take care of their child, but you put stipulations on your promise to them as a son-in-law. How in the hell do you have the audacity? You need to be thankful that this woman who is attractive, where they at? Who not only is she attractive, she make a nice coin. You should be thankful that she wants to be with you. But he's giving this whole asking for the hand in marriage proposal speech to the parents like he doing her a favor. The bar is in hell. The bar is in hell. I was just, as long as she stands beside me. No, as long as she pays all them bills. I could not believe it. I'm just like, he's leading off with scripture and stipulations in the hand in marriage speech that Monica's parents. You're not him. You're not him. You can't do that. You can't do that. But in this manosphere world that they have created with the ultimatum, I guess he can. I guess he can. We went from seeing Killian be completely disrespectful to Ashley's parents and still ask for her hand in marriage, to Luke manipulating scripture with Monica's parents, and also giving stipulations in his proposal to the. It's very much so giving, I'm the prize. And you can't be the prize if you're unemployed. No way that's gonna happen. No, I'm looking for work. How are you unemployed, looking for work, but asking this woman's parents if you could marry her?
Unbelievable.
The audacity. The audacity. And this is the man that got the it.
No.
I every episode of the show was just like, how did it make it to post? How did it make it to post? Now we're at the ultimatum. So after all of this like fluff that they tried to do, which didn't work, now all the couples have to meet at like some park and give each other the ultimatum: marry or move on. So we get Haley and Blake. Where are they? Haley and Blake go first. The last scene that we had of these two, they had a whole argument. They were doing terrible. So I just knew that they were not going to get engaged. He says, I can't. Blake goes, I can't see my life without you. Haley starts breaking down and crying. He gets down on one knee and says, Haley, will you marry me? She breaks out and crying and says, yes, of course, of course. I said the last time we saw y'all was about to do blow for blow at the pool. What is happening? Oh my God. They got one of the worst couples on the show got engaged. My God, today. So then the next couple that we had is David and is this them? David and Casey. Oh my God. This guy, the entire show was talking about, you know, if you watch my Love Island reviews, then you will understand this. David is Casey with the door. His thing, the entire show, was that he grew up in a poor working class home. CPS was the door, right? Even in his proposal, he mentions the broken home, childhood trauma, CPS. I said, my God. I said, Casey, you can't. Casey, girl, you cannot do this. Of course, Casey, who has been crying over that man the entire time, of course, she says yes. The last scene we saw of them, she was crying in the nail salon because he wasn't sure if he could stop cheating. Girl. Okay. Netflix, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I cannot believe y'all did this.
And he don't work your with. And
I cannot believe y'all did. He was just like, so you gotta. I can't like have my phone. Like you gotta look through my phone to see if I'm gonna be faithful to you. Like that don't make sense. And she's like, I need that. Okay. That's the last scene we saw them.
I'm done with this show.
He proposes to this lady. She breaks down and crying like she don't want to get that boy the ultimatum. CPS was in your proposal. Girl, I just Netflix, you wasted my time. You wasted my time. I cannot believe this. She says yes.
The ding-a-ling is something. It'll make you lose your mind.
My God, today. Keep that athlete ding-a-ling away.
He said it was good.
Hey. So next, after these bozos, we get Ashley and Killian. In this proposal, Killian mentions not liking her dad. He talks about how although me and your father don't get along, what? She cries and says yes. He's actively beefing with your dad, mentions it in the proposal, and you say yes. Netflix, stop playing with me. Where'd you get these people? Where did you get these people? I can't believe, guys. I thought it was a prank. I cannot believe this show. You know what? Oh, I'm good on Ultimatum. Y'all better not ask me to review this ever again. I'm good on this. This is horrible. This is horrible. Thank God that sister got proposed to by Mr. Nose Job, because he would have played in her face this whole season. I cannot. Next, we get Luke and Monica. And let me tell you, we should have known that a man named Luke was going to preach in his proposal. I was just like, get out of here. First of all, does Monica even go to church? Like, the whole proposal was all of these scriptures. And I'm just like, Monica gives atheists. I just like, she has, every time he says all that stuff, she's like, Like, I feel like that Jesus stuff don't work on her. So why was that all in her proposal? It was all in her proposal because it was all about you. You know what? I'm gonna I can't do this. I'm gonna cancel my next live, and I'm gonna finish it right here. we won't even go through to the next one, the reunion. We just gonna finish it right here. So let me just bring that up right now, because I can't do this. We have to finish this out because I'm so heated. I'm so heated. I'm gonna just change the thumbnail too. But I'm so heated, y'all. We gotta just keep on going. Let me do this. Give me. Let's get to the reunion. Let's get to the reunion. So we have all of these couples that got engaged. First of all, none of them should have been together. None of them should have got engaged. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that these people got engaged. All of the proposals, horrible and male-centered. But the women are male-centered. And this is the hell they're living in. This is the hell they're living in. This is the hell that male-centered women are living in with these manosphere and red-pilled men. None of it was appeasing. Not one episode of this show was appeasing. Not one episode of this show made me go, oh, I want to be in love. Like, if anything, I'm like, oh, keep the men away. It was so bad. And if I'm a viewer and I'm watching this, I know somebody at that network. I know somebody on that production team knew that this was bad as well. Why would y'all send this to post? Everybody's awful. You have nobody to root for. It was a train wreck after train wreck, and it wasn't enjoyable. Anyway, let's get to the reunion. So we get to the reunion. Luke, we start off with Luke. Luke's like, well, I got some good news. And listen, I'm working class. This is no shade. He goes, I'm no longer a waiter. Now, I'm a manager at the restaurant.
Yes, Luke. Yes. Yeah.
Monica, get out of that. No. Monica got a Fortune 500 business, and her man is the manager of a restaurant.
Yes, he got a raise.
Shout out to the waiters. Shout out to the managers at the restaurant. But then he says, if I keep working hard enough, I could be a line cook.
Oh, no, Nikki, I'm leaving.
Monica, I would never advise any woman, any six-figure woman.
Tell Nikki I'm leaving.
To get with a man that manages a restaurant. Like, what are we doing, Monica? What are we doing? Get out of this now, sister, before you cheat. Because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And you're going to look like the bad guy.
No,
get out of this now.
With somebody in the restaurant.
And she better thank the Lord. The Lord that you don't believe in, Monica, you better thank the Lord. But I'm like, sister, get out of this now before you cheat. Because what's going to happen? You're going to meet a man in your tax bracket. And he's going to start looking good. And you're going to start making excuses. And you're going to be the bad guy. Get out of this now before you cheat.
I'm crying right now.
Because they are up at the reunion, booed up. And he's talking about managing a restaurant. I'm like, well, who's paying for the wedding? We know it's going to be Monica. She's already sick of it. Monica, get out of this now before you cheat. You still got some good years ahead of you. You still got some collagen, mama. You still got some good metabolism. Get out of this now.
Before you let yourself go. And
listen, no shade to the working class community. Working class myself. Luke is working class. He comfy being working class. He don't want to be nothing else. He is very comfortable there. He was so happy about, being he said lineman. Is that some firefighter stuff? Line cook, he's very happy.
A line cook is cooking.
What's a lineman? Is that something? Because he also was a firefighter. Luke got a lot of jobs. Next thing he gonna say, he a volunteer coach.
Firefighter with a fire extinguisher.
He got a lot going on, but he's happy. This is the life that he likes. Monica, that ain't what you want. That ain't what you want. Do you always want all of your dates to be at Chili's? No, girl. Do you always want to pull your card out? No, girl.
Well, he don't have a problem with it.
That's the thing.
He don't have a problem with it.
He don't have a problem with it. Monica has a problem with it.
He don't have a problem with it.
Girl, get out of that. Get out of that now. Luke is happy. He liked being working class. He is fine with that. You don't feel like that working class lifestyle, and you don't feel like all them scriptures. Get out of that before you cheat. Anyway, and I will give this to Luke. He got tenacity. He will work. No, I'm serious. Luke will pick up a job. He will pick up a job.
But
he will listen. Whether it's pushing carts at Walmart or getting the paper route, he gonna pick up a job. And I love that about him. He's not gonna pick up an executive job.
Okay.
That's just not who he is. He's never gonna be the CEO. He's not gonna run a business.
Don't save him.
He don't want to be saved. Listen, I'm being very honest with y'all. There are some people who love being working class and don't want to go nowhere else. They love it there. And listen, I understand. I'm from Philly. Guys, I can't.
Don't start.
Guys, I can't. LeBron James.
Yes.
We up.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Y'all thought I was finished? When I thought that somebody, y'all thought it was ready? Listen. I didn't want to do that here because it's not what we're talking about. But okay. I just had a flashback. We up. Anyway, I'm from Philly. It's our season.
Okay.
People are from Philly ain't never leaving Philly. They love that working class city. They love being working. It's fun over there. I love it. It's fun. Monica, this ain't what you want. Okay. You got to be honest with yourself, sister. This ain't what you want. You was trying to bang that funny looking guy with them hoop dreams because you were sick of Luke, the waiter, and all them scriptures. This ain't what you want, sister. Get out of this. This ain't what you want. Because I'm just like, I feel like she probably gonna wake up when she got to keep on pulling out that card for everything in this wedding, and then he's still gonna ask for some money. You see, get out of that.
Where's her parents?
Get out of that.
Where's her parents?
Ready for her to get married. Then Luke also says that he felt disrespected by David because Vanessa had to ask him, you seem like you're near tears. You're very emotional. What's going on? And he's like, well, I was disrespected by David because
not near tears for David.
He was basically saying that Monica was trying to do a little something with him. And he just felt like, he felt like David didn't tell him the extent, because when he watched the show back, he was just like, oh, this is a lot more going on. And I'm like, you need to be mad at Monica. And then Monica tried to pull this stuff with David, like she wasn't trying to peel off them panties every time she was in the bed with him. And you know what? I'm gonna give it to David. He's not my favorite, but David apologized immediately, even though he was not in the wrong. I said Monica was trying to hump him. Why are you not mad at Monica, but you're mad at David? You're not mad at Monica because she paid for everything. Yeah, she's your landlord.
Yeah.
You can't say nothing to her because she can tell you to get on out. But you're going to try to get mad at David? Okay. Anyway. But I will give David his props.
She on her Shamia.
She on her Shamia. And I'm also going to give David his props, again, because he just seemed like the most evolved out of everybody. I don't know how evolved he is, but out of all the men, he seemed to be the... And he was not the worst guy there. It gets worse. it gets worse. Hold on to your wigs. So then we get to Blake and Haley. Now this gagged me. I could not believe it. I will say this. When they said that they were not together, I said, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. I was glad that these two were not together. I didn't know the reasons for them not being together. First of all, they're sitting on opposite sides of the stage. Found that a little odd, but now we know why. Probably because there's a restraining order. David, Blake, baby, block your surgeon. You have got to stop. Blake's this is how he looked the whole reunion. He couldn't even blink. Where did y'all get these people from? Netflix, stop playing with me. Anyway, so they kind of like dance around why they aren't together. And they kind of start talking about like, oh, it starts off really, really light with miscommunication. And then it gets into abuse. What are we doing? Blake says, well, because Blake really starts off like they're in a good place, but they just didn't work out. And that pissed Haley off, right? Because Haley's just like, no, we're not in a good place. Stop talking to me like we've been talking. They haven't talked to each other in like 8 months. So she's like, don't come on this show and act like everything's good. Like we stopped talking or stopped being in a relationship for real reasons, like serious reasons. So don't come and talk to me like our relationship ending was amicable. She wasn't with that funny stuff, and she wasn't with him playing like everything is cool. So of course, Nick and Vanessa, they want the tea because they're just like, well, what is going on? And Blake is just like, well, what really happened was I was out. There were 2 women. I got 2 women drinks while Haley was gone. Haley comes back. Haley didn't like it. Haley dumps a drink on my bear on his head. And I'm like, oh my God, I just can't believe that happened. And then Haley is just like, well, yeah, I did dump the beer on his did dump the beer on his head, but he's not telling the whole story because when we got to the car he hit me. I'm like, hit? Blake is like, oh, I did not. He's like, now, come come on. And that's when David and Casey are just like, well, yeah, because she called us and she let us know, and they had to protect her from Blake because Blake was beating on her. I was like, oh my God, what are you talking about?
She was crying.
What are you talking about? She starts breaking down crying, and that's when Casey and David start speaking for her, and I'm just like, what? Whiplash. Okay, I'm just like, oh, abuse? Wow, why did we air this? Because when Haley and David and Casey start talking about, that they've seen everything, and Blake was just like, well, she also admitted that she was wrong. And Casey's just like, well, yeah, but we read the text messages and you also admit to what you did. And Blake's like, let's not rehash it. I said, yeah, let's not rehash, because they confirmed that you said that you beat on her. And then Nick and Vanessa goes, all right, Killian and Ashley, why are we moving on? This girl said this boy beat her up, and they...
Yeah, because they had opened up a can of
and the cast members confirmed it.
Pandora's box, and they don't know how to close it.
They can't. How do you move on to Ashley and Killian after one of the cast members said that her boyfriend beat her up?
And she's still crying.
Haley couldn't get herself together. And let me tell you something. Haley got a little bit some issues. I'm going to be honest there. But my God, today has this show taking her through it. They have never protected her. I could not believe it. I'm watching this and I'm just like, oh, this show is awful. Abuse? What are we? And they just moved on.
I was floored when she put the beer on his head. He said an entire beer.
Well, listen, she won't do that again. My God, today that guy is nuts. But I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked.
She poured a beer.
Yeah, he
because it seemed like both of them was inebriated.
It does not matter.
No,
something been up with him. It's something been up with him. That robot fought back. Okay. And he went a little too far, because as soon as Casey and David into the chat, all of a sudden it's just, let's not rehash. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yes, because they was on two opposite sides of the room, and she was in tears.
Anyway, Nick, after the abuse of Haley is confirmed, Nick and Vanessa move on. And then we get to Killian and Ashley, and they broke up. Thank the Lord. Did. And Vanessa was just like, well, how did it happen? Who did it? She was like, me. And I was like, Ashley, oh, did we grow up? But here's the thing. I knew it wasn't going to work. Killian does not like Ashley's father. And Killian doesn't like Ashley.
Don't like Ashley.
He don't like Ashley.
He's very abusive to her.
That's why Ashley's father don't like Killian.
Yeah, because she had to call him, because she had to ran, because he was beating her, and he had to take a flight down there. And I said, it's a lot of fighting.
So she says
bending back fingers.
So she says that she ended a relationship because he just would not change. She said as soon as they got back, the screaming and the yelling at her and all of that stuff and the mistreatment of her started again. Nick and Vanessa, she's talking about verbal and mental abuse.
No, are we going to say physical too? Because she said she had to run out and call her parents.
And Nick and Vanessa is just like, I'm just like, everybody on the show is, all the women on the show getting abused, and y'all not saying nothing. This was terrible. This was absolute, but I'm so glad that she is away from him.
Nick and Vanessa needs
they don't need to do this show.
No,
they need to let this show go.
Yeah.
Then we get to Jebin and Alex. They have broken up. Thank the Lord. Jebin admits that he's just too young.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not ready. He was like, I'm glad I went on this show because I'm not ready. He's like, I'm about to move to Puerto Rico. I can't.
But he was a jerk.
Yeah, he was a jerk. You know, still is a jerk. He's like, I'm really young. He was just like, he said, I'm not thinking about getting married or having kids until like 10 years from now. He was like, when I'm like you guys' age, and everybody was just like, he was just like, yeah, I'm glad I went on this show because I was not ready. Alex was still heartbroken because you can tell that it was not her decision for them to not be together. You can tell that it was probably Jebin's mom that made the decision for them not to be together. But she's dating and she has moved on. But Jebin and Alex are not together. Then we get, I cannot believe that Jessica, and after abuse, right? We get Jessica and Idris. And I didn't think that it could get any worse. I didn't think that it did. It gets worse. Jessica says that her and her and the mask, that they are no longer together. She says literally as soon as they got back to their home after he proposed to her on the show, he just stopped talking to her. And she was just like, he just cut off communication with me. And she was just like, he was just acting really, really weird. And he goes, I didn't want to get married. That was just it. He was just like, I didn't want to do it. But, I felt like I was going to lose her. So, I proposed. Like, did not care whatsoever. And then she says that he just breaks up with her. I hate that this happened to her because the only reason why he proposed to her is because he didn't want anybody else to have her. And he took an opportunity away from her because who knows what opportunities could come from Jessica just from being on the show. Like, you never know, right? But he took this moment away from her. And she probably would have found out that it either doesn't get better and these men are all awful and she needs to move on, or she probably just would have moved on in general and found something better in Luke, who still chose Monica, right? But they get back. He cuts off all communication with her and then breaks up with her. After he breaks up with her, she's saying that she's still like sleeping with him and performing wifely duties. She's like, and I'm cooking Afghan food for you. And you are like disrespecting me, saying that you don't want to be with me. And you're also trying to sleep with Alex. What? And Alex goes, well, yeah, he was inappropriate to me and my DMs. Like, he reached out to me and he like asked me if I could be like his trial wife.
All right.
And then Jessica is just like, yeah, he was doing that, trying to get with Alex while still sleeping with me. And she was like, and then he's putting me through all of these kind of humiliation rituals. And I just felt like I was, yes, thank you. And she just like, he's putting me through all these humiliation rituals. And I just felt so sick and disgusted by him. And listen, I'm with Vanessa. Vanessa said humiliation rituals. What is that? Right? And she was like, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
But he knows what he did. Disgusting.
I said, what did he do to her?
It's happening. Then she starts talking about how even though she was still doing humiliation rituals and providing for him and being a girlfriend to him, although she wasn't a girlfriend.
So he had her as a sex slave.
Listen. And
well, her big self.
But she said, I'm doing all these things thinking that there's still like some hope that we're still gonna like get together. And he's like trying to sleep with Alex behind my back. And he was just like, well, after I bust. Yes, this is terrible.
Yes.
After I bust inside of you, I just was like, I don't want to be with her anymore. And she was like, you better stop it. You better stop it. Right? Don't you speak about me like that. Don't you speak. He was like, I'm sorry, I didn't like you after I bust.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
I busted. I didn't want you. I busted you and I didn't want you. Guys, this actually happened.
But I'm just saying they casted him.
He was going off. He just kept on saying, I busted inside of you. I busted inside of you. Vanessa was like, enough. And Jessica was like, you stop it right now. You stop it right now. So Jessica's screaming screaming at him saying, you stop it right now. Don't you dare disrespect me. Don't you dare disrespect me. Vanessa's like, enough. And he's still going, I bust inside of you and I bust inside of you. Where did they get these people from?
Okay.
I
thought they were supposed to take a psych test.
None of them took it. I could not believe what I was watching. I could not believe that this was put on TV for people to watch. It was so awful. But I have to say this, Jessica. This man is not cute. Is he wealthy? Because what are you doing over there?
Yeah, what
were you doing over there with that man? Not attractive.
Humiliation ritual.
I want to know, did you get with him before the nose job and just stuck around? Because I need to see what he looked like before that nose job.
And
I need to see
stuff to her.
Ma, we're not going to get into it. We're not going to get into it. We're not. You stop it right there. You stop it. You don't disrespect me. You don't.
Humiliation. What is
after I bust inside of you, I was just, I don't want to be with you anymore.
She better go to the doctor.
Immediately. Then she starts calling after she calls him disgusting. Vanessa calms them down. So keep in mind, we have now had multiple abuse allegations, humiliation rituals, and now Casey and David decide that this is the time to tell everybody about their wedding in Italy. I was just like, I would never reveal anything about my marriage on this stage where all this darkness has taken place. We get after all of this stuff, we get a cute little video of David and Casey in Italy and telling Nikki and Vanessa that they're invited and Haley is invited. And then they're also just like, well, we found out that we can't get married in Italy unless we're actually married. We got to be married before we go there. Mm-hmm. And so, Nick, we heard that you are ordained. Could you marry us?
An officiant, yeah.
So Nick marries them and then serenades them after this stage has been defiled with all of this nonsense. I said, Netflix, stop playing with me. This show was so horrible. Casey throws the bouquet. Jessica and Haley are fighting over it. I can't believe y'all still want to get married, let alone date men after this.
Okay.
I was just like, ultimatum, you got it. I won't be back. This was horrible. Horrible. Every episode. Horrible. I can't believe it made it to post. I can't believe it made it to our TV screens. Netflix, you owe us all, everybody who clicked on that show, you owe us all a therapy, a year's worth. Woo! My God, today. That is my thoughts, Mama Star.
Ew. Girl, listen.
Oh,
I was in and out anyway because they was getting on my nerves.
It was just terrible.
You don't have to worry about me either next time. We got to do something else.
Nisha. Niche. Thank you for the super chat. Niche said, hey, everyone, I tried to binge watch last night. I fell asleep, 14-hour day, 5 days a week, Saturday, just 6 hours. I wait all week long for a live chat. Thank you. Sending love, beautiful. Thank you so much. And don't, please, if you haven't finished the show, you don't need to. It gets worse. It gets worse. This show was extremely traumatizing. Never again. My God, today. My God, today. Oh, wait. There it is. He ain't got no money in the bank. He be walking around. Hey, Spency. Spency said, hey, Nikki.Star fam, this season is so dark-sided.
It really is.
MAGA hell. And this is what it's like in the MAGA households. This is what it's like. My God, today. Hey Irene. Irene said this season was terrible and should have been scrapped. It should have. It should have never made it to TV. I could not believe what I was watching. And then how we just skipped over Killian's friend. What in the gang grape? Haley, and then abuse. What are we doing? What are we doing? Neglected said, hey, this season should have stayed in the drafts. Absolutely. Love Like You Are said, I can't believe Jessica Grace got back. She is not back with this man. He has to be rich. He has to be rich. Ain't no way. I need to know what this man looked like before surgery. Because that kid is gonna get your nose.
Oh. Well, they'll get the kid surgery.
Oh my gosh. She got back with, you know what? Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Dahlia said the Ultimatum has a lot of dark energy attached to it. Literally every season, including the queer version, there's at least one abuse. Yeah, I'm out. JJ said, hey, Star fam, some of these men on this season, yuck, all of them. You guys are lucky I put the men in the pictures at all. You are lucky I put the men in the pictures at all. Dahlia said, Nikki, please, this picture is killing me. Ciao. Indigo said, Killian has dark energy. I suspect Killian is just like her father. I wonder where she learned to tolerate that behavior. When Blake asked her if she had a daughter, if she was dating a guy like Killian, when he asked her, what would you tell your daughter? And she said that she would tell her daughter to just give him time. The cycle continues. So Steph said this show was always a mess, including the queer version, full of manipulation, abuse and weirdo avoidance. Yep. Love like you are said the Lachey's need to be fired and pelted with tomatoes. And like I feel like everybody is. If we're not going to fire the Lachey's, fire the producers and their mics. Because why did we skip over abuse? That was crazy to me. Dahlia said, as a Christian, I'm always leery of people who speak in scripture, especially new Christians. Yeah. Luke, he had me for 3 episodes. And then I said, oh, there you are. Kat said, I'm glad it wasn't a black couple on because this is not a safe cast. And don't tell me about JG. Who's JG? Oh, Jessica. A mess. Neglected said, Jessica Grace disappointed me. Idris lusted over women up and down. And as soon as another man complimented her, he proposed to her and she accepted. He has to be rich, y'all. He has to be rich or she has to have very low self-esteem. Indigo said, I was wondering what it is about Idris. Does he have money? It has to be. Social Steph said, any relationship under the age of 25 doesn't count. Like Drea said, you can delete your own. It's true. Social Steph said, I'd be too afraid to be living with some stranger. I don't see how these reality people do it. Yeah, absolutely. Jasmine said, hey, Nikki, this is off topic, but are you going to review Married at First Sight? This is an interesting season. Yes. Married at First Sight. I'm starting Married at First Sight next week. 90 Day Fiance and Love After Lockup. I think those are the only new shows. Oh, Big Brother. So look out for those. Here's the thing. I'm going to be traveling next week. So some of these reviews are not going to be lives. They're just going to be quick little reviews, probably like 10 or 15 minutes. Just so I can stay caught up with you guys. But when I come back, we'll go back to lives. Dahlia said, Jebin looks and talks like a 12-year-old. He's a child. It's bizarre why Alex wants him. She looks much older than him, probably from him sucking her energy dry. She looks much older than him, and she was like making comments about old people. And I was like, sister, you're giving 54. Like, I don't know if you smoke, you have got to stop something. I know you are a very young mama. You do not look it. You do not look it. Indigo said, when Jebin said he wants his wife to be his mother, I almost threw up in my mouth. Yuck. He's a grown man and you still wash his clothes? Make his bed? Oh, some women choose slavery. Like some women choose it. Some women choose it. Spency said his mom is giving boy mom final boss. Absolutely. And why would you want to be with a man whose mom treats him like that? Out of here. Out of here. Out of here. Because I mean, one could think, is he still getting breastfed? There was an article. Remember that Time magazine article where that lady was breastfeeding her son and he was 9?
No.
And everybody was just like, okay, now at some point it's abuse. It's this big 9-year-old boy with his mama's teeth in his mouth. Woo! Neglected said Jebin thought of this show as a frat party. He was not serious at all. When the men got sick of him, I knew he was doing too much. Dahlia said, I'm trying to understand how production couldn't confiscate his note and then decide to humiliate Alex by forcing her to. The whole show was a humiliation ritual. Why did she have to read that? He should have read it. They should have made him read it. Indigo said, Jebin getting booted off the show is a mirror of America. A brown guy behaving badly gets punished, but when white men terrorize and do 100 times worse, everyone is supposed to ignore them, even if it's abuse. I'm 50 Gold said they wanted him to leave because no one wanted him. So I think here's the thing. Jebin wasn't punished for giving that note. The producers needed an out and they got an out with him passing that note. He was not going to be picked. And then the producers were going to have to like kick him and Alex off anyway because he wouldn't have got picked. So to avoid that scene, thankfully, he gave them an out with this note. Thank you. Love Like You Are said, a future family with a man whose family does not like you. God bless, especially because of your race. Girl, do you remember that honor killing in Texas where that Indian family killed that black girl because their son not only married her and had a child by her, but left the family for her? The father tracked his son down to the house. I don't know if he went there for the son, but the son's wife was there. Thank God the child wasn't. The son's wife was there. The father killed her and said it was an honor killing. Fled to India. And I guess he thought killing an American and fleeing to India would work out in his favor. They brought him right back. And he's still in prison for, I think he got life for killing that girl. And it was a big thing about cultural norms. And I remember the Indian community was going through it because half of them was just like, well, that's the culture. And half of the normal people was just like, what are you talking about culture? He killed somebody. And I'm not saying this is just for Indian families. I'm just saying that's how dangerous it can get. Do not get with a man whose family does not like you, especially a man whose family thinks that does not like you because of your race, because they think that your race is beneath you. Because if Alex was white, they wouldn't have an issue. Clock it. They would not have an issue if Alex was white. Okay. They would have been made him marry her if Alex was white. It could get real deadly in them streets. It could get real deadly. Neglected said, I'm looking at Alex a little sideways because why are you staying with a man who clearly doesn't like you? The women on the show, clearly, all of them have low self-esteem. Dahlia says she talked like she's in her 40s with 5 kids. Alice is in her early 20s. Gravity hasn't even hit her yet. I don't understand her. Low self-esteem. Zora said Blake needs to slow down with the plastics. All of the men. I think Jevin and Luke were the only guys who I think have not had any kind of plastic surgery. McGleckley said, I'm looking at Alex. Oh, I got that one. Nadine said Idris only proposed because Alex left. Absolutely. That's who he wanted to be with. And I'm so glad, because who knows what that old weird guy would have done to that young lady. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And he even said that. That's what he said at the reunion. He said, well, when Alex left, I was stuck because the person that I wanted to pick was no longer there. So I had to propose, but I didn't want to. And she got back with him. Don't save her. Yasmin said, hey, Nikki.Star fam. Hey, Yasmin. How are you? Dahlia said, translation, once I changed everything I am to please a man who didn't want me as I am, that's why I finally won my prize. A mid and washed up boy band. And she loves it there. Zora said, Casey is lost, sadly. 3 promise rings, but given the amount of loss she's faced, I can understand why walking away from a loved one feels like a non-option. I get that too. I just wish she wanted better for herself, because I know her mother did. I know her mother is probably grieved watching this young lady, like watching her daughter chase after this man who does not want her. David is using her as a placeholder for who he really wants. And I don't know if that'll ever happen. So they'll probably just stay married and miserable. It's sad. I hope I'm wrong. I'm 50 Gold said it's just a wife swap series. You are right. Hey, Busola, how are you? Busola said, hey, Nikki, Mama Star and Star fam. Hey. Busola said, I'm surprised they didn't cancel the show after they canceled the queer version. I'm surprised too. This was not a good season. I would fire production. This wasn't a good season. I'm 50 said Monica was so ready. It was embarrassing. Poor Luke. She was ready. She was coupled up in that bed, ready for the cameras to leave, because she was going to jump his bones. And Luke wanted to talk about childhood trauma. Ciao. Wado said, this is a show full of abusers. Never again will I watch this. Oh, yeah, I'm out. Dahlia said, men consistently talk themselves out of Punani all the time. Yasmin said the show had red flags everywhere. Sure did. I'm 50 said Monica did want David to open up, but she wanted it during intimacy. Absolutely. She was just like, what Monica meant when she wanted David to open up, she wanted David to open up her legs. She didn't want him to talk about his childhood trauma. She's just like, okay. And then he's like, well, I got a lot going on. I got a lot of pain in me. She's just like, I just wanted to get a little freaky. What is this? Why are you angry? Like, childhood traumas. Poor thing. Dahlia said, David refuses to go to therapy and uses his woman, to work as his counselors. You are right. You were right. I'm 50 said, this was the worst season ever. It sure was. 50 said Luke's teeth are co-mingling. Absolutely. But he got the ick. He gets the ick if somebody gains a little weight. Nobody ain't got the ick about them teeth. Them incestuous teeth. Oh. Boy, bye. So Steph said, a man can never check me about my looks because I guarantee I look better than his mammy. Period. I'm 50 said, well, Monica has been rude to him since childhood. So that's natural for their relationship. Naima said, I really think Haley got the short end of the stick, and you're right, both of her relationships in her trial marriage. However, I deeply need her to see a therapist. Yes. Ephraim said, Haley was a lot, but I was also team Haley. Same. She has a lot to work through. Though. That group chat was highly disturbing, but not shocking at all. Here's the thing. Haley was already, no shade, unhinged. That group chat, that group chat just it wrecked her nervous system. She was so bothered by it. I will never forget the scene where she's talking to her aunt and she's showing her aunt the group chat and she's shaking. I'm like, yo, why didn't anybody protect her? Well, if I would have read something like that about myself, and it was a guy that I was sleeping in the same home with, talking to men, like talking to his friends like that about me, I would be like, I don't feel safe. I'm getting out of here. Zora said, how are the messages funny? Just say you find it amusing to harm women. Clock it. Naima said, in the way that Blake didn't truly check Killian about those texts, he comforted Ashley more than he comforted Haley. That would have been grounds for a breakup. Absolutely. Gimme Charles said, happy Friday. I just finished rewatching last night's live. Hey, thank you for being here. Naima said, how could I still be attracted to any man that allows me to be talked about like that? Sick AF on both Killian and Blake's part. I agree. Dahlia said production should have stepped in and booted Killian. Absolutely. That's what I thought was going to happen. When I saw that she was still in the same home with him, I said, what happened? She was avoiding him. But I'm like, you're still in that place with him? Zora said Blake's life coaching was annoying. It's because it wasn't real. It wasn't how he felt. I don't think Blake has a personality outside of ChatGPT. ChatGPT built a personality for him. And so he's like no longer computing or communicating like a human because he spends all of his time talking to a machine. Naima said, the use of ChatGPT from Haley and Blake for emotional issues, like we are in a mental health crisis as a society. Yes. And I honestly didn't know that so many people use ChatGPT as like a therapist. What is going on? And it's the two people that use ChatGPT are the two people that needed the most help. Lord. Thank you. Naima said, yes. How did Jevin get kicked off and not Killian? Absolutely. Here's the thing. I think they just lowered the bar so much because they would have had to kick up all of the men at some point. So they were just like, we can't have standards this season because we would not have a cast. Zora said Haley seemed so dysregulated. Yes, around Killian. Her spirit was picking up on his nature, and the text messages confirmed who he is. Yes. Dahlia said, I don't understand how Haley stuck around. I don't either. I don't know if she spoke on that, but I'm just like, I would love to hear her thoughts because how do you move on from that? How did everybody move on from that? I have been stuck there since I watched that episode. I couldn't believe it. That was a big deal to me. I'm 50 said, I don't think this season was appropriate for Aerie. I agree. The whole season gave thirsty. It only had 4 couples with unsafe circumstances. Yep. I think this needs to be the last season of the Ultimatum. This was bad. Hey, Pepe said, hi, Nikki and Mama Star and Star family. Happy Friday. This whole season, MAGA Basura. They really played in our face with this one. I will say the season was awful. It was absolutely terrible. But my God, today, did it give us a close-up into what MAGA relationships are like. Scary. Miss Gigi said, I jumped on just in time. Why did Haley stay with that potential SAer? I don't know. I do not know. I would have swore that she was going to leave the show. I could have swore she was going to leave the show. Indigo Girl says Ashley knows her man. She knows Haley was telling the truth, but she was not trying to leave Killian at the time. I think because Ashley was saving face. Ashley wanted to act like she didn't know who he is, right? And so she's like, oh my God, really? I understand. I hear you guys. It's not rain. Knowing she wasn't going anywhere. Hey, Big Erica 1 said, this show sounds dangerous for women. Was previous seasons like this? I hadn't watched the last few seasons. The seasons I watched were not like this. They weren't great. There was ups and downs, but we also had like some good couples. There was one couple I was following for a really long time. They had a baby. We had some good stories coming out of it. This was just awful all around. Guys, I wish I had the screenshots, but I think it was season two of the Ultimatum. And now I know why she talked about being abused, because I was just like, this came out of nowhere. But I hadn't finished the show at that time. So one of the girls, it was a black couple. I forget their names. You guys know who I'm talking about. Please talk about it. Please mention their names in the chat. It was one guy, a black guy and a black girl, and they did an ultimatum. She brought him for the ultimatum. No, he brought her for the ultimatum. She got really close with one of the other guys, and then by the time the show ended, she realized she was a lesbian. Good for her, right? But she came out like last week talking about how the show didn't show her their relationship and why she decided not to be with him. She said, I had to go with, I want to explore women as a reason why I didn't want to be with him. But she said the real reason was he was abusing me. And he was abusing me while we were filming the show. And she said there were multiple times that he was hitting on me and they were filming. I gotta find it because I'm just going off of what I remember. But I was like, that dude was beating on you while the show was filming and they didn't show, they edit. She said she said they edited out the abuse. What you mean they edited out the abuse? Girl. Thank you, Deborah, Ray, and Zay. I'm gonna find her screenshots. Hold on. Give me a minute. Give me a minute because I want to read what that girl wrote. I was like, what? I said he was beating on her. And guys, if you remember that season, she was so different. Like you could tell that something happened because she was so different towards the end of that show. Oh, here it is. This is, thank you, Bravo Investigator. This is Ray from season 1 of The Ultimatum. She provided more details about let me send this to y'all so we can read it together, child. I was like, oh my gosh, this show is just Abuser Central. Abuser University. Child, let's read this together. I couldn't believe it. But I was just like, that makes sense because she was so different halfway through the show. And she was just like, I was like that because he was beating on me. Oh, I'm sorry, Toya. I'm traumatizing my sister. Let's read it together. Hold on. Let me take this comment down. Let me take off. She says, I really didn't. This is from Ray. She says, I really didn't want to start problems. That's why I deleted my original comment. I didn't see her original comment. I just saw this. But he got physical with me during that one scene. He shoved me, grabbed me, and hit my arm, trying to keep me in the room. I hit back, pushed past him, and ran out of the room. Another night during filming, he damaged the door and called me a stupid bee. They edited it out. He swung on me in the hallway in his apartment in Katy, Texas, after the show when I came over to talk, not during filming. Also, the reason why I was so cold towards him was he told Shanique during filming that I had a miscarriage with him. I did not have a miscarriage with him. We never even had a pregnancy scare. When she told me, I was shocked and disgusted that he said that to her. I had a miscarriage in the relationship I was in for him with someone else. So when he told her that, and she told me, I had a long conversation with Shanique and Randall about what he said and confronted him about it. I think he told her that so she would feel bad for him, maybe. I don't know. I didn't want this to be a big thing. He's been smearing me for years and lying on my character. It's not worth it. Other women have come to me with stories of abuse as well. I hope everyone, including him, finds the peace and healing they need. Also, it's not Netflix. Netflix is just a platform. Kinetic content is the company that makes these shows and handles the edit. I tried to speak out. Hold on. I tried to speak out, but everyone flooded my comments with hate about me and Jake. They literally got footage of this man beating this woman up and they edited. What you mean y'all edit that out? What do you mean he broke a freaking door? Why would y'all leave that out of their story? We got to be done. This show has to be done. Like we can't go on. It's an abuse demon now following the show. The Ultimatum. This is really, really, really bad. And then Ray responds, hold on, I'm gonna send y'all the picture. I'm gonna show y'all. Oof. This is crazy. This was really bad. This was his response to Ray's post. And this, I knew something was up with that guy, but everybody was talking about how attractive he was, and I was just like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. This is his response to her post. You mad, ain't you? That's his response. And the song that he's using is Paramore, Ain't It Fun? Smiling. How is it you mad, ain't you, when she left? That girl was doing that. My God, today. My God, today. They got to wrap this up. Naima said, but Netflix shows are always dangerous. I think I've been critical of Love Island casting, but Netflix genuinely create harm for women, from Love is Blind, The Ultimatum. The Ultimatum is horrible. This season was bad, but then Ray coming out with her. Naima said, Age of Retraction, like Netflix, creates the most unethical reality TV shows. I think we're at a reality TV show boom. I think that they're bust. I think a lot of these shows are going to have to end, and I think this might be one of them. Because where y'all going to go from here? Where going to go from here? Because now this show is out there. This show is attracting abusers. The show going to keep on giving platforms. Pepe say a lot of these people were too young and immature to be talking marriage. Some of their frontal lobes aren't even developed. But that's when a lot of people get married. Especially if you grew up in the church, baby. That's when people get married. A lot of these people don't even go to school. They go to a church and get married. Neglectic said the text messages set up a possible group act that would have put Haley in danger. Yep. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. Naima said the way I skip the chat GPT scenes, if you're using chat GPT voice, It's another human. You're as another human, like it's another human. You're in too deep. Very. Dahlia said, "What's weird to me is that all I see on social media is people raging on. They're mad at her. Oh, that's crazy.
Time check is 5:36.
Oh, sorry, 36. Thank you. Lasha News said, "When Ashley immediately stopped crying, that's when I no longer felt same. Same. Mom, you're rude." Lachey said, "When Ashley immediately stopped crying, that's when I no longer felt sorry for her. You, Miss Thing, know exactly what you're doing." Yep. That's when I was like, oh. Because she did get me when she was like, "I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this." And then Haley goes, "That's the humiliation." And she's like, "What do you mean humiliation?" Everybody on the show, who do you root for? Everybody on that show got a huge issue. Coco said, "OMG, I know you aren't there yet, but Haley did who's AD's podcast after the reunion, and Lord, oh, we got to talk about that." Dahlia said, "Maybe these people aren't having a good time because they are horrible." It was a season of horrible people, child. Season of them. Miss Gigi said, "The season was so painful to watch. I kept picking up my phone and scrolling. It was so bad. I just couldn't believe it. I just could not believe how horrible it was." Zora says, "Killian treats Ashley like she's a little kid. It's weird." You know what? I think there are some women who might like that, right? And I think she liked it until her family until he felt comfortable enough to disrespect her in front of her family. I think she was fine with the treatment. Not fine, but, let it go until it happened in front of her family. She had to do something. Zora said, "There is no reason for any of these couples to stay together unless they're launching a new social media career. Next stop, Perfect Match." Nobody from this cast should be on the Perfect Match. None of them. They need to be in a therapist chair. Miss Gigi said, "Ashley's dad only agreed because he wanted to support her." Yep. But he made it known that he doesn't like Killian. He had to say yes. Because if he didn't, Ashley would have remained in a relationship with Killian just to spite them. Zora said Ashley's parents were basically begging Killian to ask them if he could marry Ashley. I don't think so. I think they didn't want it, but they knew that there was nothing that they could do. Their daughter was going to have her way. Dahlia said, "As a Christian, I love marriage, but I hate how we treat it like it's the ultimate prize. Come on. It's sad to see people turn pathetic, begging for a ring, taking weak partners." Yep. It's a partnership. That's what it should be. I'm for marriage if it is an equal partnership where you two decide that it is a smart decision to legally bind our lives together as partners. Totally fine with that. If you're going into a relationship with a man that says that he likes his woman submissive, that's what David said. And none of the women flinched. He likes a submissive woman. Absolutely not. Why do you need me to submit to you? Who the hell are you? What are we doing? We're both human beings. Why do you need to see me as lesser than so our relationship can be successful? No. Absolutely not. Indigo said, "Once Monica and Luke get married, I won't be surprised if he somehow loses his job." Leave me alone. Naima said, "I feel Monica is settling. She never wanted him, and here she is with that man. Let this be a warning." That's what I'm just like, girl, get out of it, because if you end up cheating, you will be the bad guy. Coco said, "Killian did the vow files and literally owned 0% of anything. It was pathetic." Did Nick give him any pushback? Of course not. Of course not. Zora said, "I wish an unemployed man would present himself to my African parents. Bless his delusional heart." And he was so confident. And if she will stand beside me as my partner, then I will promise to be a good. You unemployed and you got stipulations? The audacity of men. That's why I said you date the hot ones, date the rich ones, date the fine ones. Because look at Luke with them commingling teeth and no job, giving stipulations to Monica, the woman that runs her own Fortune 500 company. Even the least of them think that they're better than you. The best thing that you could do is get a fine one. Because even if he disappoints you, at least you was able to experience that face card. Come on. Come on. Come on. Naima said, dare I say David and KC are walking because Clay from Love is Blind, season 6, ran, talking about how his daddy cheated. They're all tethers of Clay. They're Clay tethers. He was horrible. Constantly told everybody and the audience that he didn't like AD. Never took his ding-a-ling out of her. Ain't that so? Don't like the girl, not attracted to her, slept with her every day. The way they are able to play with women's minds, hearts, and bodies and get away with it. Miss Gigi said, David also plays overseas, so you know he has a good time when he... And let me just say this. Casey is not his type. Casey is the one who will stick around. That's not what he wants. And she knows that. Busola said, I think they'll probably cancel the show after the season. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Social Stuff said, these are some insane proposals. They were horrible. They were all horrible. And the women were crying. What are you crying for? Dahlia said, I don't know how people marry pro athletes or first responders. Terrible, well-deserved reps. I don't get it either. But, you know, I can understand the pro athletes. They're hot. I get it. I get it. Some of them should just be a fun little tussle, not a husband. Zora said, Ashley and Killian, a match made in hell. Spency said, these proposals were diabolical. It was awful. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why are y'all crying? I would have been like, that's it? Okay, well, this thing gonna work. I really cannot believe that everybody got engaged. I really thought we were going to get some breakups. I'm 50 said, we need to go back to South Africa. Child, not with the xenophobia going on over there. Lord knows what that season is going to be like. Keep it. Naima said, they clearly got them off of Craigslist. This cannot be a genuine sample of the population, male or female. It's not, and I hate that because media will make you think it is. And that's the problem. Zora said, who else thinks Killian will marry Ashley for money? I can already see her TikTok vids on how he demands a ridiculous amount of Child, she better not do it. But it seems like she's like in a good place with him, like with the fact that she knows that he's not a good guy and not for her. Miss Gigi said, Nikki, the sister didn't get away unscathed. They were a mess too. Who's the sister? Oh, yeah. Oh, this must be before I got into the reunion. Let me scroll down to what I got into the reunion. Dahlia said, right now I'm on fries, but if I worked hard enough, I'll be on the register. That's where the big bucks are. Yes. Pepe said, Idris is nasty, selfish, and looks doped up all the time. Dahlia said, I don't feel bad for Jessica. Sorry, she don't want to be saved. Hey, Bree said, Nikki, Jessica, and I hate that for her. Yasmin said, Jessica needs to take this as a blessing in disguise because that man did not deserve her. He humiliated her. You are back with the man who you said you had to perform humiliation rituals for? He got to be wealthy. He got to be a sultan somewhere. Christy said, Nick and Vanessa don't need to host another show because they do not like to talk about the deep stuff. They want to keep it fluff when this season was dark. And that's the thing. They should not be over a relationship show. They should be over like a baking contest. You want to keep it light? That's where you can keep it light. A show about relationships, especially now where all the men are heavily red-pilled, there's going to be abuse. And you're going to have to address it. You're going to have to address it. Dahlia said, I think Monica could deal with paying if Luke wasn't such a butthead. He's a terrible partner and the power imbalance ain't worth it. She also wanted him to be tall. She wanted to climb that David tree, child. Victoria said, based on this review, I'm glad I didn't watch the season. These people seem terrible. Victoria, it was terrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. Naima said, to be fair, I think he meant lineman. Okay, not a line cook, like in the fight. Okay. But again, working class, blue collar, nothing wrong with blue collar. I always say, that's why a lot of Black women who achieve success still try to make it work with blue collar men because that's what the face cards are. That's what the face cards are. If white collar men were hot, Black women would date them. The face cards are in the working class community. That's where they're at. Zora said, Nikki, do you think that production was trying to appeal to red pill viewers? I don't think so. I think that this is what they got. I don't think so because red pill is no longer profitable. So I don't think that they were appealing to them. I think this is what we're dealing with now with men. And these men are too dumb to realize that they are being primed for the military. That's what all those views are going to lead you on a battlefield. Hope you know how to shoot. Pepe said, the whole reunion gave me hypertension. The way I was screaming at the screen, Nick and Vanessa really showcased how inept and complicit they are. They just did not do a good job at all. Miss Gigi said, Nick and Vanessa didn't even address the abuse. They moved on to a lighthearted montage. I couldn't believe it. And that's exactly what happened, y'all. After Haley was like picked up by David and Casey, after she was crying about how Blake abused her, they were like, oh, a montage of love. How do you jump? Craziness. Indigo said, Jessica's right where she wants to be. Back with him. A mess. Indigo said, Idris was getting off on Jessica spitting out. He loved every minute of it. Then they got back. Foolish. Naima said, I'm going to be real. I don't know. I didn't know there were men as bad as this entire cast. Same. Not one guy was good, guys. Not one guy. Always Prices said, I tried my best to watch Ultimatum. I couldn't get through episode 1. Where did they find these men? Cringe. I don't know. Wherever they found them, don't go back there. Dolly said, Nikki, I left you a like. So your sacrifice is not in vain. You're a real one. Thank you. Yes, guys, please like the video. Always Prices said, it's exactly what it's like, Nikki. I've been looking for that documentary you mentioned about the racist white folks in the Northeast. I'm going to find that. I'm going to find that for you guys because I think it was on Vice. I'm now that I'm thinking about it, I think I watched it on Vice. Because I feel like I saw a logo in the corner. But I'm going to find it. Ethan Empathy said, hey, Star fam, thanks for always supporting Nikki by remembering to hit the like button. Let's help her grow the Star fam. Please. Thank you. Coco said they already did the vow files together. She was embarrassing herself, basically walked back everything she said on the Give me shelter said, I'm afraid that two things can be true. One, we are in an AI slop area. Two, we are in reality TV slop area. And unfortunately, art is imitating life. There you go. Oh yeah. Miss Gigi said, "Did you see the rest in peace to Ashley's mom at the end of the reunion? Her mom passed this year." Yeah, that was so unexpected. Can I tell you, everything about this show was traumatizing to the very end. I said, "Oh, Ashley's mom passed." I just, oh, like, please, if you haven't watched, don't. Every episode, trauma, trauma. Dania said this season was terrible and the man was sick. Yep. Luzola said, even if Idris was rich, no way he's going to give her any money. This reminded me of Ashley and her old weirdo husband on Potomac. That's what I think it is. I think he is rich, and I think that's why she's doing all of those things, because she thinks that she's going to profit from his lifestyle. No, it's not going to happen, mama. Art World said, hi, Nikki. Are you reviewing Love at the Lockup? Yes, I am. I've been seeing the previews. It's wild. Maybe fake, but this short guy is bold. Here's the thing with Love at the Lockup. I think that people fake situations, but I think these people, this is who they are. This is who they are. It's always priced to set. It's abuse, y'all. Remember that scene from Hunting Wives with that one mom and her son? Oh, boyfriend past teeth. What? Oh, I gotta watch Hunting Wives. Give me Chuck at 9 years old. Oh, at that point, it's a time for CPS to step in. Mama has some psychological issues. Yeah, I think the son was on a chair. And I'll never forget, it was the blonde lady with like a shortcut part and like a shortcut. And she's wearing this shirt and it's open to her boob. And there's a chair. And her son is on the chair with her breast in his mouth looking at the camera. Let me see if I can find. No, you know what? YouTube going to block me. No, I'm not going to put it. But go look for it. Time magazine. And it's about like, when should you stop breastfeeding your kids? I was like, oh my God, this is a grown man. He could get a job. What's going on? What's going on? People always like, with men, people always like, oh, his father, you got to see how God talk about his dad. No. That relationship with that mama. That's where you got to do your research. That's where you got to do your research. Y'all, oh, you never heard of the honor killing? It's so much stuff. Y'all. Honor killing. Indian father kills Indian son's black wife. Yes, Chaman Ray. If you want to look it up, is ChimanRai. An Indian immigrant businessman in Mississippi masterminded it. He didn't do it. The contract killing of his 22-year-old African-American daughter-in-law, Sparkle Michelle Ray, in April 2000 because he opposed their interracial marriage. If that family does not like you, leave that man. Leave that man. Leave that man. Thank you so much, TIK.Star. TIK.Star said, stay in touch with Nikki'Star and join the Nikki'Star family reunion email list. Thank you, guys. Give me shelter tag. Can I just say this when BIPOCs? Here's the thing with BIPOC, I always think bisexual people of color. My mind has to go there first, and then I have to think about what it really means. That's why I froze. Force themselves into racist families. I no longer have any. Yeah. Like, who are they trying to prove? This is the thing. Like, it's one thing the family not liking you. It's one thing being another race and culture, and the family is racist towards you. That at that point, you're on your own because you want to be there. You and I do not care. That person is not that great that you could subject yourself and your future children through being from a racist family. What are we doing? What are we doing? Donnie said, I will never watch this show again. And you were so funny, Nikki. And then asked Mama Star. Thank you. Miss Gigi said, I would not have gone back to that apartment with Killian. I would feel safe. Yeah, that was my first thought. I thought she was done with the show. And then we come back and she's still in the apartment with him. I said, oh, okay. Deborah said, yikes, Blake was arrested after the show wrapped for harming him. What? This is crazy. Oh, Gibby Shelton said, Nikki, once you mentioned that group chat, that blank group chat, I was looking in because I remember they found a group chat in Europe, yep, where the men were plotting on members of their own families, even grandmoms. Cultural. Oh, also the woman in Paris who not only sued her husband but testified against him because he was in a Facebook group chat of men who it was a Facebook group chat of men who wanted to sexually assault other men's wives. And so a lot of them set up these sexual assaults of their wives. She was like the only wife to, like, I guess, know about it, find out about it, and go to the authorities about it. He drugged her, knocked her out cold, invited 80 men over from that Facebook group to sexually assault his wife, her husband. Y'all keep on telling me that they're a prize. Girl. Yes, Miss Gigi said, I've seen all the previous seasons. This one was just awful. Yep. Indigo said, these men are scary. They're making it so easy to stay single. Ciao. Spencer said, oh, he is demonic. And then laugh about it. Somebody said that you abused them, and that was your response? My God, today. Busola said, it now makes sense why there's so much abuse on this franchise. The producers are sweeping these serious issues under the rug. It's crazy. Zora said, girl, don't get in the way of your money. Sue them all, including Netflix. Here's the thing. If she sues Kinetic, she's going to have to sue Netflix as well. And I don't think she wants to do that, but I don't think there's any way around it. Smitty said, he is so disgusting. Most of you just think they did nothing wrong or somehow blame the woman. Here's the thing. You remember during the season when he was being critiqued, there were women in his comments telling him he did nothing wrong because they're attracted to him. They are attracted to him, so they just let that mess go on. Hey, Deborah. Deborah said, why do they choose to embarrass themselves by coming on the show instead of just taking a break and dating other people, which basically is all this is? Yeah. I don't know, child. I do not know. All the women just settled so poorly. Coco said Nick actually did push back on Killian so much to the point it was awkward. He kept on saying, okay, but if you had a daughter over and over, Killian could not grasp it. But here's the thing. My initial issue is that Killian should have never even been at the reunion. He should have been removed from the show. He put Haley in danger. Nadine said Haley and Blake will be on the perfect match. I think we'll also see Monica on something. I think she will come to her senses. Ciao. Oh my God. Thank you, Donnie. Donnie said 80 got her happy ending. Thank the Lord. Jasmine said, I'm not watching this season, but these engagements mean absolutely nothing. How many couples have been on the show that got engaged and how many are actually married? That's true. Busola said, I think these people got engaged because it became a competition and they didn't want to lose. They should all break up. Absolutely. Dahlia said, Nikki, you raised a good point. Why are all the best looking men Well, I think the best looking men, the best looking people are working class because a lot of rich relationships are not relationships that are made out of desire, right? To for the other person. Like it's not these people don't really want to be married. These people um their marriages are either arrangements. The women are marrying these guys because they have money. The men are marrying the women because they have money and they're a pedigree. Like oftentimes, um, the beauty has to enter into the rich community. It has never been there because, especially in America, those people that hold the most of the wealth in the United States of America are descendants of enslavers. Those people have always been ugly, always, because rich white aristocrats they practice incest. They still do that. No shade, but that's why them royals look like that. They be cousins. They're very incestuous people. So they all look funny looking, and they normally bring in some working class, beautiful person to help the bloodline. But oftentimes their bloodline is very ugly and sickly because they're incestuous people, deep, dark, and demonic. Janelle said, Nikki, have you ever seen The Circle on Netflix? I was actually going to watch a season because one of my friends was on it, but I watched like a few episodes. I gotta be honest with you, it was overstimulating for me. I immediately was like, I need a break, and I never went back. Yasmin said some of these breastfeeding women are weird because why are y'all still breastfeeding a child at 9? Well, they're the man of the house. Be Yourself said honor killings happen in Pakistan, India, and similar societies. They do it to their own daughters too. It happens most to the daughters. Most recently, there was another honor killing of a young girl, of a Indian young lady. I think it was like 2 or so years ago. It was most recent. It was a big deal. The dad fled to India. I don't know if he's been brought back to the United States, but that was all over the news. Zora said, if I'm remembering correctly, Haley said that she didn't leave because she didn't want to give up and quit. Give Me Shelter said that happened in Germany and the dad was plotting on the daughter too. He was drugging and having people assault. Y'all have to go back to treating the men like your grandmoms and your great grandmoms. Because a lot of y'all think that y'all great granddads and granddads were Rolling Stones, and he ran away to go be with the his other family that he was cheating on his grandma with, and baby, he buried in the backyard. Yeah, them grandmoms knew how to take care of a problem. Deborah said that poor French woman. It is vital women get tested STIs even in there, and now it seems like you have to have cameras all over the house, just in case your husband is planning to gang rape you. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? So Seth said he just got sentenced. Good. Bury him under the jail. Hannah said there was also multiple group rape in South Korea of men and boys planning on rape. This is the darkest live I've ever had, and it's because of this show. It's because of this show. I'm not returning Netflix. Give Me Shelter said, how do men have to load women or set them up like that? It's scary. And back to your previous point, maybe the cause is the mother. Can I just say, I hate to be one to blame women, but it's always the mom excusing that behavior. My prince, he bites kittens. Something is wrong with him, girl. Boys will be boys. Okay. Dahlia said somnophilia is a huge kink. What is that? It's always a woman who's asleep or drugged and a partner in an unknown party is using her body. The Quaaludes, you're right. That's sick. CM said Netflix dating shows are some of the most toxic I've ever seen. We have to stop having these dating shows where people are living with partners, these people that they just met. That's why I'm just like, Love Island at some point, you have to. I feel like Love Island should not have these people sleep in the same bed. I think they should have them request a double or a single once they feel comfortable sharing. But as soon as they're coupled up, they're sleeping in the same bed. I would never. Even if I think that guy is cute. The minute I feel like he poking me with that thing, I'm beating him up. Coco said some of them have said that they were recruited to. They recruited these men? Like, how the F you gonna recruit couples for? What was the casting call? Hi, are you in a relationship with an abuser? Like, what are you? Anyway, Dahlia said Princess Diana did the royal family a huge favor. Come on, for marrying Prince Charles. We would have never got Harry. Those kids would never stand a chance. Oh God, do y'all remember William in them early years? He had us all in a choco, child. Anna said, these people, how can you start a company with someone but think that marriage is too much? Looking at you, David, child. Dahlia said the Habsburg family inbred for generations to keep the bloodline pure and then the money in the family. Think Targaryens, but in real life. Yeah, that's why they be funny looking. Every now and again, they bring in a working class person to make sure somebody got good looks and it's not sickly. Because they all be mad sick. They all be having issues. I'm 50 Gold said 2 daughters in Dallas. Egyptian father unalived them. Thank you. That's what I was talking about. I'm 50. Thank you. Dahlia said, my heart breaks for all of these women, but men are having a hard time. Okay. Right. Men's mental health. Y'all creating group chats about sexually assaulting your wife and daughters. Ciao. Thank you. Janelle said, because if you think about it, Kata and Zach slept in the same bed and barely said 2 words to each other. Remember that threesome one? I thought the threesome challenge, I thought that was going to get everybody, because when Kata had to sleep in that bed with Zach and Bryce, I remember the comments were just like, what the hell is this? What is going on? Zora said there was this Black couple who would create content around a wife breastfeeding her husband, and they mentioned how it improved their. Okay, y'all. Okay. Oh, I remember he used to have his hair like, woo. We thought he was gonna be it. Coco said, oh, and Killian and Jevin started a pot. Why are all the awful men starting podcasts? What is happening? Dahlia said, that's why reality shows need young people. They need people who still obey authority and willing to put themselves in harm's way for fame and fortune. Us over 35 are not putting up with it. Yeah. But guys, a lot of these people were old on the ultimatum. There were some people who was Idris, Jessica, late 30s, early 40s. I don't know, man. Let me get a couple more and then I got to get out of here. Give Me Shelter said Love Island and these couple shows are really testing those consent boundaries. Like, it's already hard to get assault to be taken seriously. Come on. And these shows have them in beds with strange men. Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jesse. Jesse said, what did I walk into? Sister, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Janelle said, make Mike's $18 million. Absolutely. Coco, thank you. Please DM me the clip. Hannah said, that's why I'm not so mad at reality. Reality shows are fizzling out. The environment is so toxic. It's not safe. It is not safe at all. I am so sorry that this life got so dark, but that's okay. we won't be here again. Welcome or goodbye for my final Ultimatum live. This was just sad and dark. Netflix, let go of this. Let go of this. I gotta go, Star Fam. I love you all. I'll see you. I probably want to see because I'm gonna be traveling, so don't be mad at me. But I might do an after show of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, just because next week is gonna be crazy for your girl. But you're gonna see me every day. I'm gonna post content every day. I just don't know how many lives that I can do, so I'm going to try to do as many as I can. But I love you all. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Please, if you could give your girl a like, a share, a donation, we would all, the Star family, would appreciate it. I love you all, and I'll see you soon for something else. Bye. So long. Farewell. Like the video.